So you wouldn't necessarily look to go public?
I'm incapable of being a CEO of a publicly traded company, so no, we will not.
Yeah, maybe Elon Musk should have said something like that at one point. But,
you know,
right?
I don't know Elon well enough, and I know he's a character. I'm not incapable because I want to curse on video. I'm incapable because I don't know how to run a business that needs to perform financially every 90 days because I'm a marathon runner, not a sprinter.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of refreshing to hear that you don't necessarily need this payout, but you don't need that for your employees. I mean, there are a lot of private companies that have been around for decades and decades, right?
That's exactly
right. You
right.
don't have to go public, right?
No, I don't want the cash infusion to buy a boat. I want to enjoy running a company, and I need independence as an entrepreneur, and so I'm not willing to give up my independence for $400 million up front.
You've got 5.5 million followers on Instagram, 1.8 million on Twitter. How do you do that? I mean, I always hear people, oh, you just create content and you sit there, but it couldn't possibly be that easy.
Well, it's definitely not that easy. That would be like saying, how do you become a professional basketball player? You just play basketball. Like, how do you become?
But you need talent then?
Yes.
So what's the talent?
By the way, let's stay here for 4 seconds because it's a huge platform and I think we're about to help a lot of people. The number one non-conversation going on in today's society around influencers and other things is the talent part. Like, now, talent comes in all shapes and sizes. Your talent may be that you're a model. You're just very attractive.
That's me.
Right?
No,
you
that's
know
not me.
Right?
Okay, yes.
Or a comedian, or an athlete, or a thought leader. I do believe that education and entertainment are the two pillars. But yes, I mean, you know, back in 2006, I started making wine videos on YouTube. In 2007, I aggressively put out content on Twitter. Had the things coming out of my mouth not been interesting to people, I would not be sitting here with you right now. It's not super complicated. Most people have taken some version of an attempt to become somebody people know on the internet. Most people. You know, there's a set that's very private. Most people have taken a dabble into a LinkedIn article, into a nice photograph they posted on Instagram, into a single YouTube video, a couple clever tweets. Most people have tried.
Right. So what's the secret of making people engage with your content? I mean, it's just
empathy.
Smarts, empathy, okay.
Empathy is the secret. I believe I sit at where I am in the lexicon, which is I think a winning player in today's new environment because I'm empathetic to my audience. I put out content that brings them value, not makes me feel good about myself.
Right. How many posts do you put up a day on Insta and Twitter? And those are your two main platforms?
Those are the two main platforms that I myself completely control. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I've, over the last 3 to 4 years, amassed a team of content creators, media amplifiers, strategists around my content. But I fully control Instagram and Twitter, and I put out 4 Instagram regular posts and probably, you know, anywhere between 3 and 25 tweets a day.
So that's a lot.
By the way, big shout out to you and your team because the train going by now, the fact that you guys didn't stop it, I'm so pumped right now. I'm fired up. Like,
we wouldn't stop for that. If my phone rang, we wouldn't stop.
I love that.
That's like old people, old school stuff.
But there is an evolution in content creation. Like, it literally just took note. I'm like, oh, I like these. Good job. Go.
And that's empathetic. So how does the business model work? Like, so explain your company to me. Is it VaynerMedia? Is that the entire business? And
VaynerMedia was the first company for about 6 or 7 years.
No, but this is Vayner Water.
Yeah, I mean, that's just inside
that's
stuff.
Just okay.
That's an inside stuff for us. We have fun with that. But VaynerMedia was the first company. After building up Wine Library, and then after being an investor in Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and having kind of Silicon Valley success, I decided to start the agency with a premise that eventually I would want to buy nostalgic and historic brands. And I would run them through my progressive consumer-centric marketing model. So I started an agency. It grew very quickly. Now there's something called VaynerX because 2 years ago I bought PureWow.com, a women's lifestyle brand. We started a men's brand recently called 137 PM. Then we started a speaking bureau 6 months ago called Vayner Speakers. we started a company in January to service small businesses because VaynerMedia is made for Fortune 500s called the Sasha Group, named after my dad, which is fun. We have a tech platform called Tracer that is evolving in a separate company. So now there's a VaynerX holding company, and very honestly, it's really no different than Publicis or Omnicom or WPP, or for people who are watching, it's just Mad Men 2020, right? Obviously, a hell of a lot. You know, I haven't watched the show, but I assume what they've had on the show, it's a heck of a lot culturally better. But
Right,
you know,
right. So how
it's
does
an advertising agency.
Right. So the business model works like you have Fortune 500 clients. Like, give me some names.
Chase, Budweiser, Pepsi,
Okay.
Hulu.
And they pay you money
Service
to do
fees to make
campaigns?
pictures and videos on the internet and on television. Planters Super Bowl spot this year was made by this production company that we're in and ideated creatively by VaynerMedia. We are paid to make pictures, videos, written words, marketing collateral. What's unique about VaynerMedia in today's world is under the same roof, we also then are the media agency that places the media. We buy the ads on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Yahoo. We do the execution. That was the way it was done in the 60s and 70s. The same people that made it also bought the television, then they separated them. And now most agencies either do creative or media. VaynerMedia does both.
I mean, a lot of people say the ad business is dead, the legacy companies. I mean, certainly they're under a lot of pressure. Is this sort of a new model, a good way to do things?
Yeah, I agree with the street and the business pontificators that the old model's in trouble, but I don't think it's necessarily because they didn't have media and creative under one roof. I believe it's because they were publicly traded companies and they had to make their own numbers. And when you're a service provider, if you only care about your EBITDA and your stock price, your clients eventually are gonna feel that.
Right.
And when they feel that and they feel the negative effects, I actually believe there's an incredible book to be written, similar to like Barbarians at the Gate, of what the 4 or 5 biggest holding companies in the world have accomplished in the last 25 years, which is through consolidation. They have basically extracted the value out of the biggest brands in the world. If you look at the biggest brands in the world that have used the publicly traded agency model over the last 20 years, they've declined while the agencies have grown. Only now are they starting to decline because the cat's out of the bag, because the biggest brands in the world are starting to look at Vayner and other independent alternatives, and that's bad for the holding companies.